I'm curious, have you had personal experiences with police in your life, maybe here, where you felt like they were being biased?
Well, on that question, I'd rather remain silent, or I'd rather just not talk about that,
Yeah,
because I'm still in this city.
Right,
so.
yeah. Kevin, again, nice to have you back.
Thank you.
Cool of you to meet me here again. We're at the same park we were at when we talked before. So that's kind of exciting. You're my first repeat guest I've had on the show or whatever. So kind of like last time though, any sort of belief that you have that you want to discuss, we can talk about that.
Yes,
So
I'd like to discuss the police reform bill that they keep mentioning, but it haven't passed or haven't went to the Senate or Congress yet.
okay, so police reform of some sort, right?
Correct.
So that's the main topic. But so then I guess the question is simply, what do you believe about police reform, or what should be done about reform police?
First, I think in America, in all cities now, it's a lot of police officers who are not neutral, and it's a lot of different situations going on with different citizens in different cities in the USA, that the citizens are being singled out by biased and prejudiced police officers.
Okay, so maybe the belief that we could discuss would be that the police are not neutral, that maybe
Correct.
the police are biased in some way?
And they should pass. The president office proposed a bill, but I don't think it's finalized yet, to put a police reform bill
Okay.
into any state, and they have to follow certain criteria.
Okay. So there's a bill there to try to maybe reform or regulate the police, but it hasn't been passed yet.
It's a bill that they constructing. It's in the early stages, and they've been talking about it for years.
Okay.
But right now, the current president said that he liked to get a bill on police reform, and he liked to get a bill. And what I'm trying to say is, they have to build the bill or start a bill before it go to Congress and Senate. That means they gotta have so many statutes or
they have to get more people and like compromise on it to get more votes and that sort of thing. I want to keep focused, if possible, though, on the belief that the police are not neutral, that the police have these biases. If you were to rate how confident you are that the police are not neutral on like a scale from like 0 to 10 or 0 to 100, how confident are you that the police are not neutral?
Well, I say on a scale of 0 to 100, 100 means the stronger.
Right, 100 being strong.
Mean,
yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And so I put 0, from my personal opinion, that you get near a lot of officers, and they have a chip on their shoulders about some citizens, about maybe the citizens past,
Okay.
or maybe the citizens following something.
So let me put it a different way then. So are you very confident that the police are not neutral?
I'm very confident.
Very, very confident. So on the scale, it'd be more close to like 100, maybe. Like if 100 is I'm absolutely certain the police are biased, and 0 is I'm not really sure. You're more close up to 100 then?
Well, 100, correct.
100? Okay. Would you say you're at 100 or somewhere like
At
95,
100,
96?
at 100.
Okay. At 100%. All right. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, my goal in these interviews is to make sure that I'm just asking questions from like as neutral of a perspective as I can
Correct.
be, right? So kind of like the opposite of what you think the police are, right? I want to be as neutral as possible. And so I'm just going to ask questions to explore your belief, this belief that the police are not neutral. in a way where I'm just going to try to be as neutral as I can, but I do want to explore and figure out why you believe what you believe, and explore those reasons and see if they're good reasons. And so we can kind of explore it together. Does that sound good?
That sounds good.
Awesome. Cool. All right. So you mentioned a couple of situations where the police might not be neutral. What do you think the main reason is that you believe the police aren't neutral?
In America, in different cities, it's a lot of different police brutality cases that already happened. I don't want to mention specifically one in particular. There's a lot of different police brutality cases that made headlines. And so that's when, I guess, on one last police brutality case that made headlines, that's when the current president said they're going to think of some type of bill to put certain guidelines on law enforcement agents and officers in these cities. So and they're going to try to get rid of brutality cases in America. And that's the whole purpose of the police reform.
Yeah, so the police brutality that you've seen, that seems to be the biggest reason why you think the police are not neutral, right?
That's one of the reasons.
That's one of the reasons. Are there other major factors when you think about, why do I think the police aren't neutral? Have there been any other things you've seen or learned or experienced?
Yes, if you're outspoken and you tell them how you feel and you express yourself with them and you just speak the truth, sometimes some officers don't want to hear the truth. And so, I mean, it's then being outspoken, then on the third thing, readdressing grievances. Say if you go somewhere and you file a complaint on a law enforcement agent or officers, sometimes it's what they call retaliation. So you got to be careful who you associate with or who you deal with.
Gotcha. So on top of the brutality, a lot of times they're maybe violating people's free speech.
Correct.
Okay. And so the brutality, that would be more like physical violence.
Correct.
Right?
It's some cases in America that made headlines, and a couple cases in particular happened. The main one that I want to say has happened in Memphis, Tennessee, not too long ago, with a black guy. That's when the current president was pretty outspoken, like I am, about his personal opinion. And that means when you get near Congress and you get near Senate, the president can introduce a bill to restructure the laws concerning what officers can do and what they can't do.
Yeah. And so you mentioned this happening to a black man. Is that part of, or is that a main focus of when you're talking about they're not neutral? Like they don't treat people the same way based on their race or color of their skin or other factors?
Well, it could be due to race, or it could be due to other factors. In different cities, I mean, it's just it's pretty tough dealing with certain law enforcement agencies and officers.
Sorry, she looked like she was interested, so I thought maybe I'd try to give her a card.
She was looking at me.
Oh, you think so? Okay. Sorry, I didn't catch all of that. That's my fault. I got distracted by the people going by. So yeah, in different cities, different police officers, different police departments. Do you think that this is a problem? You kind of mentioned different cities. Do you think this is a problem everywhere in the United States, or is it worse of a problem in some places than it is in other places?
I think in metropolitan cities, which this current city we live in ain't a metropolitan city, because I don't think they meet the criteria, but in metropolitan cities, it's more evident, or it happens more in metropolitan areas.
Like the big city, like Chicago, Los Angeles.
Well, that's the definition of metropolitan areas.
Yeah, the really big ones, right? So it's more of a problem there maybe than it is in smaller places like this, you think? Like,
Correct.
have you had? I'm curious. Have you had personal experiences with police in your life, maybe here, where you felt like they were being biased?
Well, on that question, I'd rather remain silent, or I'd rather just not talk about that.
Yeah,
because I'm still in this city.
right?
So,
Yeah.
so I like to, just.
Yeah.
I put it like this.
You could put it as like a yes or a no, and not.
No,
you don't have to go into it.
I could have, and I could not. So
Okay.
I like to just remain silent.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, leave that.
On my personal opinion, because
Right.
I still live here in this city.
Yeah.
So I like to.
You don't want to have that. You talked about retaliation
Right,
or whatever, right?
right,
You wouldn't
right,
want that
right.
sort of thing to happen to you, right?
Right.
I totally understand that. And
Right.
you don't have to say or answer any questions you don't want to.
Right,
Okay, this is
right.
totally voluntarily. So, so let me just kind of rephrase and repeat back what I'm hearing, okay, and make sure that you agree with how I'm characterizing and summarizing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So please let me know if I don't get something right. So police are not neutral, or they're biased, would be another way of saying that, right? You're 100% confident in that. And you think the problem is worse in bigger cities.
Correct.
And the two main reasons that you believe this are that you see instances of police brutality, where there's police who are engaging in violence, especially maybe against certain groups of people. And then they also will try to sometimes repress people's speech and prevent them from saying what's on their mind and like take away their right to free speech.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds accurate?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Which of these two reasons, repressing free speech or police brutality, which of those two reasons do you think contributes more to your confidence?
Well, on freedom of speech is in the Constitution.
Yeah.
Then on police brutality, is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say? Could you repeat
Yeah,
that?
so there's the police brutality, right, the violence, and then there's the
free speech.
repressing people's speech.
Well, on
Yeah.
freedom of speech and police brutality, I think just with human nature, sometimes anybody just naturally by human nature, sometimes their judgments are inaccurate and their decisions are inaccurate. So that's human nature.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying the U.S. right now, I think a lot of police departments are under investigation pretty bad. So
Okay.
I guess that's the norm, and that's accurate too.
Okay, so that might be another reason you think this is true, is because a lot of police departments are under investigation for this sort of thing?
Correct.
Okay. Gotcha. So it sounds like the free speech thing is a big part, right? You see police officers, if somebody says the wrong thing to them, they react inappropriately.
Well, you can have, I could like, say if you had a friend, your best friend, so you went to college or high school, so then when he become a police officer years later, and he knew you from high school or college, sometimes along the way, you and your best friend or your friend could have had like altercation.
Okay.
Y'all could have problems. When he get into law enforcement years later, sometimes he still got a chip on his shoulder.
So we can definitely, you can think of instances where an individual officer would not treat people neutrally, right? And I think that's probably not controversial, that there are bad cops. Even police officers will say, there are bad cops who are corrupt, or they're not following the law like they're supposed to. Do you think it's a larger issue? Like, is there a systemic issue with police departments where the entire, maybe not the entire force, but the police force as a whole can be biased and not neutral?
I think around the country, in different newspapers and different stories, in the newspapers and different TV channels, I think it's a major problem everywhere. In all cities, in the U.S., if you read the paper, you look at TV every day, you will see so many different situations or so many reports of certain examples of what we talking about. So, it's kind of Right
So
now,
it seems like it's common.
Right.
It's not
Right.
just a few bad apples. Okay. Because of the prevalence of those stories and seeing many instances across the country. Okay. So I just want to ask a couple of questions kind of about your major reasons and kind of test to make sure that they are influencing your confidence. So if let's say that in the future you learn something and you stop seeing police repressing people's speech, right? Maybe you saw less media stories about police officers, reacting to somebody and violating their First Amendment rights. If you saw that happening less, would that decrease your confidence that the police are not neutral?
Well, I personally, I just keep my thoughts to myself inside about how I feel
Okay.
about a situation like that.
Yeah.
It's just like it's pretty delicate
Yeah.
topic.
Yeah. Okay. Could you think of something that you could learn or see that would move you down from 100%? Can you think of maybe a change that could happen in the world? Maybe like if this bill was passed and then things got better, would
After
that
the bill
decrease
is passed,
your... Okay.
maybe, I think a lot of Americans, they will have different opinions, or, their thoughts going to change after the bill is passed. And I'm pretty sure, I guess, some bills you have dragging for like years on years,
Uh-huh.
but once the bill is passed, I think a lot of Americans will have more confidence in different police departments.
Yeah. And I'm imagining it would probably take some time, right? Like with anything, like for example, with like the civil rights movement, when black people finally got the vote, right? There was still a lot of like, especially in the South, a lot of resistance to that, and they still try, and to this day, I think they still try to prevent black people from voting, for example, right? So, but this bill would be a good first step to make things better, you think?
I think a lot of Americans will be more confident in their local law enforcement departments because it's a bill that it has certain guidelines, what they can do and what they can do. Then in some states already today, they have special amendments for bills through their local legislative and their General Assembly, and they have bills that they already passed in certain states that limit certain contact or certain behavior from law enforcement officers while they talking to somebody or investigating something. But some police reform bills already passed in some states in America today.
Okay, cool. All right. So I'm just going to summarize what we've talked about, make sure that I'm understanding you properly. Then I might have like one or two more questions for you, but then I think we'll probably be about done. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. So your belief is that the police are not neutral, they're biased, you're 100% confident in this. You see, in like the media, stories of police brutality and violence, them repressing people's free speech, cases where there's retaliation, where if somebody upsets the police in one way or another, they might retaliate and not stay neutral like they're supposed to. And you think this is a bigger problem in big cities, and you're 100% confident right now, but if this bill that's been proposed is passed and the police become better regulated, you think that could make things better in the future and maybe you become less confident that the police are not neutral?
Yes.
All right, cool. I'm just wondering, if this bill were passed and you didn't see things getting better and you still saw lots of stories in the media about police, brutality and retaliation, would you still be really confident they were still not biased?
I think
Or that they were biased?
when the bill was passed, there's certain laws or certain new laws that they put into the bill.
Okay.
And so certain things, they're limited. They're going to be limited about what they can't do and what they can do. So it's going to stop a lot of nonsense,
Okay.
basically. What I'm
There's at
saying.
least going to be some checks and balances and
Right,
things to prevent
Right.
police
right.
retaliation, brutality, and such. Okay, cool. And that could be a good step toward making the world a better place.
Yep.
Cool. Do you have any other thoughts
No.
on this, Kevin? Cool. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
All right, cool. Well, I think that that just about wraps it up.
Yeah.
Kevin, thanks again for stopping by and talking with me a little bit more. Appreciate that. So, what do you have going on next?
Oh, I gotta go to. I'm going down here. I need to go to the store later on and get me a few items at the store.
Yeah.
So right now I'm running kind of low, but I gotta go somewhere, and I gotta try to get a hold of a few things. Cause that mission, it'd be so crowded at the mission.
Yeah.
It'd be packed. I mean, you go in there, like this right here. You wait in line sometime for half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Just to eat. So.
Yeah. Take a little while. Well, Kevin, I've got some money for you, okay? Just to help you out. I know you say you're a little low on funds right now, and I appreciate your time and stopping with me and talking a how times. So
you didn't tell me happy birthday. Well, you
I did. Yeah, I
birthday.
told you happy birthday.
I appreciate it.
60 years old. That's a big one. Yeah.
How are you?
35. 35. So you're about the same age as my dad. My dad and mom. Hold on, I gotta think. I think dad's 61. Mom will be 60 in September, so you're right around my parents' age. So. Cool.
So how long you gonna be down here?
Well, I got the parking spot for another hour plus, I think. So I'll be down here for another hour or so. So hopefully I get a few more people. Do you want another one of those? Sure. So hopefully I get some additional people to stop by and talk.